Most experts say wait until 70 to take Social Security. The biggest check, the best deal, the smartest move. And for a lot of people, it is. But Greg and Diane sat across from me with $3 million saved, a road trip they'd been promising each other for 30 years, and a question the standard advice doesn't answer. What good is the biggest check at 70 if you spend your 60s too damn scared to spend a dime? I'm Jose Martin, founder of Lifecraft Wealth Management, and this is Real Talk. Greg is 63. He spent 3 decades building a commercial flooring business out in West Broward, and about a year ago he sold it. Diane's 63 too. She just retired after years running a busy dental practice here in Coral Springs. 2 kids, 3 grandkids, a house that's paid off, and no pension between them. What they do have is right around $3 million in investable assets, spread across the kinds of accounts that give you options. Greg's IRA holds about $1.15 million. Diane's around $480,000, and just over $1 million sits in a joint brokerage account, and that's where the business sale landed. Another $220,000 in Roth and $100,000 in cash. On paper, they've won the game, but here's the thing keeping Diane up at night. They're both under 65, so no Medicare yet, and covering their own health insurance could run close to $30,000 a year until then. And at their income, there's no subsidy coming. So they're sitting on $3 million and still asking the same question everyone asks. Is it enough, and are we allowed to enjoy it? Well, here's what the spreadsheets miss. Retirement spending isn't a flat line. Researchers describe 3 phases: the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. In your 60s, you're healthy, you're free for the first time in 40 years, and you spend more. Travel, the trips you put off, the boat, time with the grandkids. Then it tapers. The pattern's consistent. People spend the most in the first decade of retirement, and it drifts down from there. Greg and Diane's whole list lived in that first decade. The Pacific Coast Highway, a month in the Italian village Diane's grandmother came from, and here's the reframe. The advice to wait until 70 optimizes exactly one thing: the size of your last check. The break-even age, where waiting finally pays off, usually lands in your early 80s. So the real question was never, how do I get the biggest check? It's, which years matter most to me, and how do I protect them? So picture Greg and Diane running the standard playbook. They wait until 70. That means from 63 to 70, their healthiest, most active years. Every dollar of that elevated travel spending comes straight out of the portfolio. No income coming in, just withdrawals. Now, add the part nobody warned you about: sequence of returns risk. If the market hits a rough stretch early, like the decade after 2000 when the S&P 500 went essentially nowhere for years, selling into that downturn to fund a trip does damage you never get back. But here's the trap that actually catches people. It isn't running out of money. It's that watching that balance drop year after year with nothing coming in. Most people get scared. They cancel the trip, they say, next year, and they arrive at 70 with a bigger check and a decade they never lived. The risk isn't the math, it's the regret. So we did the opposite. We used our planning framework, Wealth Map, your means, your aspirations, your protection, and we coordinated all 3. Start with means. Instead of waiting, Diane claims Social Security at 63 and Greg at 65, both before full retirement age. Together, once both are on, that's about $59,000 a year adjusted for inflation for life. Now, that only covers a little over 1/3 of their spending in the go-go years, and that's the point. The floor's job isn't to pay for everything. It's to make sure the trips never depend entirely on what the market did that morning. That's protection. Their portfolio is built all-weather with a 6-month cash buffer, so they're never forced to sell stocks into a bad market just to fund a vacation. Then, in the gap years before 70, while their reported income is low, we convert a slice of Greg's IRA to Roth each year, trimming the tax bill that would otherwise land hard when required withdrawals begin at 75. And aspirations? We gave the travel a line item, a go-go years fund on purpose, so that spending big early stops being a source of guilt and becomes the plan itself. Now, let's look at 30 years. The gold band is their Social Security floor. It starts modest and grows with every cost of living adjustment. The blue is what the portfolio provides, and the red line is their spending, high through the go-go years, then stepping down as travel slows, and you can see the portfolio doing the heavy lifting early. That's by design. That's the life they wanted, front loaded. And here's the part that lets them sleep. Even funding a rich first decade, in our base projection, the portfolio holds its ground. In today's dollars, the principal stays roughly intact with a real legacy left for the kids. Now, I want to be straight with you. Run that same plan into a poor first 3 years in the market, and the picture might change. They still don't run out, but that comfortable cushion at the end shrinks to a fraction of what it was. And that's sequence of returns risk in one chart. And it's exactly why the income floor and the cash buffer aren't extras. They're the reason a rough start is survivable instead of a catastrophe. When we finished, Diane said something I wrote down. She said, "We always called it someday. Now it has a date on it." That's the whole job right there. Not a bigger number at 80. A real answer to the only question that was ever keeping them up. When do we leave? So here's who this is for. If you're in your early 60s and have $500,000 or 5 million or anything in between, no pension and a list of some days you keep pushing out, understand this. The Social Security decision isn't just a math problem. It's a question of which retirement you're actually buying. And it's a decision you only get to make once. If that's you, let's talk. The first conversation is complimentary, and there's no pitch, just an honest look at your situation. Call us, reach out, or just send us a line. I'm Jose Martin with Lifecraft Wealth Management, and remember, the goal isn't to avoid every storm, it's to be built for them. We'll see you soon.